Welcome back to Big Bacon's Collection, where it's Force Friday here in the Bacon Bunker. Today, we're going to be looking at the Star Wars Black Series, Moff Gideon from the Mandalorian. Moff Gideon is portrayed in the show by Giancarlo Esposito, who, I love that actor all the way back since Once Upon a Time, where he played the man in the mirror. Ooh. Never really saw any of Breaking Bad, so I don't know him as Gus, but let me tell you, this man plays an amazing villain. I'm trying to remember where I got this figure. I think I actually found this figure at retail, at a Walmart nonetheless. So, as always, we're going to look at the accessories, we're going to look at the figure, we're going to do some articulation tweaking, see how he moves, and then we're going to deck him out and get him on the shelf. So let's get the big one out of the way. He comes with a cape. Well, a partial cape, I don't know, because it doesn't actually come up to the neck or over the shoulders. It just kind of sets on the back like it's draped. So maybe better to call it a drape. Has a peg here that pegs into a hole in his back. Got this lovely red coloration on the inside, black trim, and then the outside is done in black. Now, there's a lot of argument over plastic versus soft good when it comes to things like capes. Soft goods are definitely easier to maneuver, easier to arrange, easier to pose in, but there's something about the look of plastic that's hard to beat. So honestly, I think for certain figures, those that need to be in more dynamic, high action posing, maybe soft goods are good for them. But if you're just going to display a guy on your shelf, plastic is still a really good alternative. Now looking at this, I've got some sort of paint defect here. Feels like just like a flake of paint is stuck. And that's exactly what it is. It's just like a random thick piece of hardened paint. He's got his itty bitty tiny hand blaster. Now, there's an old adage that my wife likes to say a lot. That's if you carry a really big gun, you're compensating. Well, good for you, Moff Gideon. This thing looks like just a basic 9mm with a scope on it. In fact, you extend the barrel a little bit and put a stock on it, it would be Megatron. And the big one, the piece de la resistance, he comes with the Darksaber. Now, don't get me wrong, any kind of lightsaber is kind of hard to really truly replicate. Doing a Darksaber even more so because it's just light around a dark center. So in this case, they use sort of a translucent white and then painted on each side. So you do kind of get that effect, but you don't get the glow that goes with it. Sorry about that interruption, folks. Yeah, it doesn't have that glowing effect like in the show. Now, the blade does peg into the handle. I've never actually removed it from this handle. But there you go. It's just a simple peg. Pegs into the hole. Now the hilt is really nicely detailed and accurate to what you see in the show. So yeah, that's really cool. Now, he, unlike most figures, does not have there's no hole, no peg, nothing on here, so it doesn't actually hang on him. So you will be holding this. And yes, part of me has argued with the fact of, well, maybe I should just give it to Din Djarin. Well, apparently there's a version of him coming out with it. Now mine has some paint blemishes here on the blade piece. So let's get on to the figure. As far as face likenesses go, at the right angle, this angle, I can see Giancarlo Esposito. Here, it's a little harder to see. I mean, I can make out who the character is supposed to be, but okay, stop it. There we go. So he's got the high gloss body armor on the upper chest and the shoulders. Got some paint details on it. Looks really good. Does come around to the back where we've got the peg hole for the cape. He's got the standard Imperial officer style tunic underneath. Although because of the glossiness on it, it does look more leather than it does fabric. Got some really great gloves on here. Detail on it is fantastic. The belt is high gloss with red trim, goes all the way around, and as with anything they trim, you can obviously see there's some paint issues, but here on the back, I really don't care, because guess what? The cape is going to cover it. Up here in the front, you can see it's a little wide in some areas. Kind of misses in others. Hanging from the belt is a holster. It's not actually on the belt, it's on the lower tunic piece, but it's made to look like it's just hanging down from the belt. Now, the upper thigh and the lower thigh, two different plastics. One is a higher gloss, one is a very flat color. Got the Imperial red stripe running down the outside of the leg. And then we've got some boots. We have some boots. These are some nice looking leather boots. I mean, you could actually see leather detail on it. These are nice boots. I would wear these. And my only other major complaint is the same one I make on a lot of these figures. And that's when they go through and do the face print technology. It always leaves like a really glossy, shiny finish. I really need to take a bunch of these outside with some dull coat and just whoosh, knock them down a peg. So let's do some articulation, shall we? His head is on a dumbbell at the top of a hinge. So looking up, because of the way the back of the head is sculpted, that's all the higher up he looks. Looking down, oh, his neck is also articulated. Sorry about that. With the temperature keep jumping and dropping here outside the bacon bunker, my sinuses are going crazy. So looking down, he doesn't actually look down very much either. No real tilt going on. The head does rotate. The shoulders. This shoulder guard is soft rubbery plastic, and it's designed to come up over the top of the armor. So it doesn't actually impede much, but there is a point where it does hit the collar, and at that point, you're done. Bring it back down. Just a little push will put it back down in place. It does rotate all the way around. Single jointed elbow comes up well beyond 90. Rotation at the elbow. Hands rotate. This end here has a horizontal peg or horizontal hinge. On the other side we have a vertical hinge. Waist cut is underneath the armor, which hides it nicely. You do get a little bit of forward, a little bit of back, even a small amount of tilt, and obviously rotation. Because of this lower hang-down tunic piece, you think it'd be highly restricted, but because of the slots in the side, he can still get his leg forward that far. Get his leg out that far. That's not terrible. Side cut for rotation. You have a single jointed pinless knee that comes up 90 degrees. There's rotation at the knee. The foot and boot do not have any kind of cut. Foot does hinge back that far, comes forward that far. Front facing pin for rocker. So, what do you say we get this guy hooked up? His blaster traditionally fits nicely down on the holster if your hands can actually keep holding it. And I love the fact that that looks like an actual leather holster. That's great. The cape just pegs into the back, and it gives that look of it just hanging on the shoulders. And then, of course, we're going to do a crossbody hold with the Darksaber. And that cocky, arrogant look of his. Get him back on the stand. His foot pegs are really tight. I really should have done this first. The ankle's wanting to pivot instead of actually going down on it. And there we have it. Moff Gideon. So, let's get him up on the shelf with his other buddies. He looks real nice right here by Cad Bane. So there we have it. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, hit that notification bell, and I'll see y'all next time.